into a tumbler and passed it over. "Barnes finds it for me," he said. Barnes was a Mau Mau veteran he had reluctantly taken on as a minder when he had been appointed chief. He had resisted all entreaties for Barnes to be allowed to move into the house, claiming that the place had been his weekend retreat for years, and he wasn't about to have it invaded by a stranger. So Barnes rented a cottage in the neighbouring village and popped his head in as regularly as he could without annoying the old bugger too much. Apparently he also made sure he never ran out of booze. Chief settled back into his armchair and raised his glass solemnly towards me, seemingly in a toast. As I lifted mine in return, I was surprised to catch the scent of Vanessa's sex still on my fingertips. I breathed it in, and its rawness overcame me for a moment. "One never quite gets used to it," he said softly. "Does one?" I looked at him blankly. "I'm sorry, sir?" He pointed at his glass. "My Prague poison, Joan used to call it. Do you remember?" He gave a short, uncharacteristic laugh, which I did my best to imitate. "Yes," I said, "I do remember." I was relieved, but also I realized a little disappointed that he apparently wasn't about to sack me after all. I'd become so bloody soft I had actually been looking forward to a bit of drama. Chief was leaning down, running his hand through the papers at his feet. Then he gave a triumphant snort and edged a manila folder out from beneath a copy of the Sunday Telegraph. He fished it up and placed it on his knees. It was a file from the office. A new one, by the look of it. "Bad news, I'm afraid," he said, handing it to me. "Traitor country." The folder had been sent by diplomatic bag from our station in Nigeria and concerned one Vladimir Mikhailovich Slavin, a cultural attaché at the Soviet embassy in Lagos. He had turned up at our High Commission there on Friday evening and announced that he wanted to defect. It was a slim folder, as well as a transcript of the interview with Slavin in Russian and an English translation of the same. It contained a page of notes by the Chief of Station, Manning, and 2 grainy passport-sized photographs that had been taken at some point in the previous 2 years as part of the station's routine surveillance of foreign diplomatic staff. It had a very restricted distribution, just Chief and heads of section. It took me a good 10 minutes to get through it. I found that I desperately wanted a cigarette, but as there was nothing more certain to get Chief's dander up than that, I made do with drumming my hands on the arm of the chair. "High stakes," he muttered, tapping his glass with his fingers. That was an understatement. Slavin claimed to be a colonel in the KGB and was asking to be smuggled out of Nigeria to a new home in England. In return, he was promising to reveal information about a British agent who had been recruited by Moscow in 1945. Since Burgess and Maclean had fled to Moscow in 1951, several Soviet agents had been uncovered in the Service, 5 and elsewhere. Philby had been the biggest blow. He had been tipped by many for the top. In the 6 years since his disappearance, the Service had become almost paralyzed by the fear that other traitors remained undetected. I'd lost count of the number of officers whose pasts had been put under the microscope. I had even faced questioning myself. "Has Henry seen this yet, sir?" I asked. Henry Pritchard headed up Africa section. As Slavin was in Nigeria, he would be heavily involved. Chief nodded. "I had it hand-delivered to the homes of all heads of sections a few hours ago, apart from Edmund, who's still away. His went to Smale instead. Because you and Henry will be taking the lead on this, I attached invitations to your copies asking you to come round this evening. Station 12 told me you'd been out when they called round, which is why I rang you up myself." Station 12 was the messenger service. "I see," I said. "Sorry about that. I was at a concert for most of the afternoon. Was Henry not in either, then?" He shook his head briskly. "No, he got it. I scheduled him for a bit later, though, because I wanted to talk it through with you first. See what you made of it." I stood up and walked over to the fireplace, trying to think of a suitable answer. Could Slavin be a plant?